Hey everybody, Alex here, and welcome to a new video of sorts. I've decided I'm not doing this whole update video thing anymore. It's getting old. It seems like every video is an update because it's not the usual thing. So we're doing a whole, I guess you could say, reformatting. I don't even want to say rebrand because it is what it is. Basically, I can't take full credit for this, but I am going to have to contribute it to, oh fucking hell, I forgot the name already. Back in the Day Gamer. Jesus, Alex. So he used to do a video for Video Games Monthly and pickup videos and all that sort of thing. And his pickup videos were always like 4 or 5 months behind because life. So he decided it would just be easier for him if he just combined it all into one big thing, which he's calling, what's going on YouTube. And basically he said he took it from Bithead. And thinking about it, it kind of makes sense, actually. And because Bithead does a video, and it's kind of just like, it's like an hour-long enlightenment episode, I guess is the best way to put it, from the Fortress of Solitude in his backyard. And it's a little bit of everything. You never really know what you're going to get, as I spit all over the place, until you actually turn on the episode and start listening, and it can be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and change. Can I necessarily talk for that long? Yeah, easily, actually, which is a problem. But I kind of want to start doing something like that myself. Not so much a podcast, because I feel with like a podcast, I need a topic. With this, it gives me a little bit of a creative outlet. Maybe I could do some B-roll sort of thing, which I'll get into in a minute. I need something to do that's slightly more creative than just goofing off on this fucking thing all day, as it were, or goofing off with those things that you can't see because they're off camera all day. This will be a little bit more of like, there will be a structure to it, but it's very loose because I don't like scripting stuff. However, since this is the first, whatever it is I'm going to call it, there'll probably be a title somewhere. This is what it's going to be. Whatever video it is, it's not, I would think once a month maybe, just like give an idea, because with a lot of stuff has changed in the last year since I kind of dropped off of YouTube, and YouTube has changed a lot. As a matter of fact, as I'm recording this, apparently this coming Monday, if a video is over 8 minutes, it's automatically monetized. I don't know who gets that money. I don't think it's me, which is fine, because this has never been about that for me. But if it means more people see videos, cool, awesome, but I don't really know. So that's pretty much what this is going to be. What I may do, because I obviously certain things may, since this is new and Bithead has kind of carved out his audience over time, you kind of know what to expect when you get into it. The first few, I'm probably going to put timestamps in the comments. And then basically, once, I guess, as a listener or viewer or whatever, whatever you like, whatever you're into, you'll just know what it is. Now, am I going to break down every single topic? No, this isn't a fucking news show. It's just me saying, like, this is the part about life, this is the part about games, this is the part about what's coming, that sort of thing. And that's really what this is. So the first bit we're just going to talk about is life and update stuff. So this is the update part, and now for the life stuff. Still the year that was 2020, and guys, this is, I know everybody's going through this in one way, shape, or form. New York has finally gotten its shit together over time, and unfortunately, I optimistically, I knew this wasn't going to be like an overnight thing, and it definitely is not going to be an overnight thing. Oh, by the way, Dark Souls shirt. It's gotten better. I've been furloughed from work again because business for tourism in New York didn't pick up. I don't know why anybody thought it would, to be completely honest, but there's that. And it's been, just home taking care of stuff. Everything's good here. I have been going through the collection once again, basically trimming more fat. And by fat, I've actually gone into a little bit more of the more spendy stuff at this point. And like for instance, on the Switch, a new version of Brigandine has come out, which I had thought I would be really into, and I wasn't. It felt so much like a board game, but I feel like I would have preferred to play it as a board game. I was hoping it'd be kind of like Dragon Force, which by comparison is a little bit more arcadey, in my opinion, but I'd already owned Brigandine on the PS1 from way back, and I never actually played it. But the funny thing about it is, I'd actually got it from GameStop years ago, and it only came with, what did it come with? It came with the manual and the map. And then, I was like, once I started collecting, and, I don't think it ever made it into the PlayStation 1 collection video from way back when, which is obviously outdated. I went on eBay and I bought a case for like $25. I sold it for $230. And I didn't sell it for the sake of dirty reseller. I honestly didn't like it, and here's why. I decided, hey, maybe it was just the remake, maybe that sort of thing. I do like a good strategy game. I just finished this guy at 5. And which is different, obviously. But I was like, maybe I'll give it a chance. So my girlfriend is off for the summer because she works in education. So she was in the living room with me. She was reading a book, and I was playing Brigandine. Selected my character and all that, or monarch and all that fun stuff. And she looked up and saw I was at this board screen and continued reading. And then 20 minutes later, looked up again, saw I was still at the board screen. Went back to reading, and then half an hour later, past that, about an hour, she goes, "Are you ever going to actually do anything other than look at the..." And I'm passed out asleep. She was like, "Holy shit, he fell asleep during the tutorial." There is no tutorial. I just fell asleep. It was that slow and boring. So normally I give a game 6 hours, like I give anime 3 episodes. Narcolepsy is the only way I could define this game. So obviously it got sold, and it sold like instantly because I had the map. Apparently the map increases the value by like $70 or something. And that's something that I've really been seeing. Thank God I am pretty much done collecting at this point, except for a handful of things. Because the video games are nuts right now. I have never seen pricing like this, even in the days when I was after higher ticket items. Like, it's ludicrous. I know a lot of people are home and they need something to do. I'm not all for it, but I really do think emulation is a really good idea right now, because this is insane. Like, particularly with the GameCube. Now, I'm not the biggest GameCube fan. And by fan, I mean I had one, but in terms of games, I only really had the Nintendo first-party ones growing up, and then I think I had Sonic Adventure 2 and a handful of others. And even now, it's pretty much that. I don't get it. I use flim-flammy ways to play the GameCube through the Wii U, just because of the nature of my entertainment center. It's not... I have a GameCube up there, but it's really just so I can have more consoles on that TV in the first place. And to that point, too, I made some updates to some of the stuff that's in the living room and my consoles in general. I did pick up a mode, which, in case you guys don't know what that is, it's a multi-optical disc emulator. Basically, it's an FPGA from Terra Onion, and it replaces the disc drive in the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast. You can swap it back and forth. I thought it'd be easier to do that. It's really not, so it's been living in my Dreamcast for a bit. And I have to say, basically, you can use a hard drive, you can use an SD card. It's a little spendy, but guess what? Brigandine paid for it. And I don't have to trash my discs anymore, because particularly with the Saturn, which I'll be completely honest, if you were to ask me which collection do I enjoy owning the most, it is the Sega Saturn. Which collection do I think has the most nostalgia is the Super Nintendo. Just putting that out there. But it just, in terms of having everything in one good to go place, just like I use EverDrive, so I don't have to go grabbing stuff as much anymore. It's great. It's honestly a brilliant piece of kit, especially with that new Retro Fighters Dreamcast controller. Oh, gorgeous. The only thing it doesn't do, just in case some of you are like, oh my God, I have to find this thing now. It doesn't, if a game doesn't support VGA, it doesn't trick it. Bang.io does not work with VGA, for instance. So you have to use S-Video, which I tried doing that with the RetroTink. Looks okay, but it's S-Video and I'm used to using HDMI. You know what I mean? The other part of this whole thing, which made this a little bit more expensive, is that the Dreamcast I have is a launch Dreamcast and is my childhood Dreamcast. Now, this whole modification, it's plug and play. It's very easy. It only took me 20 minutes plus a slight miscalculation because the screwdriver I had was too fat to get into the screwdriver slots. But I didn't want to risk damaging it because it has a lot of sentimental value. It was purchased by my uncle back in 1999 while I was at a soccer game. I have a video of it, and Soul Calibur all day long. House of the Dead 2 with a controller all day long. Love this system so much. Plus it has paint on it from when we did our renovation when I was a kid, because I foolishly left it out. So I bought another Dreamcast in the middle of this wackiness where everything is stupid priced, and I finally found a dude who was selling a Dreamcast, and I was negotiating with him back and forth, and he's like, the drive is a little funky, so I'm willing to work with you. And I'm thinking, good, because I don't fucking care. And the drive is fine. I think it was just a little loose or something, because I haven't had anything skip. And it was a launch model too. So now I have two Dreamcasts, and my Saturn is not my childhood Saturn. My childhood Saturn's long gone, but that is modified so that the tray can stay open so I can swap back and forth with burned discs, just for preservation's sake. But then I also have the magic key or whatever it's called, so it can just play burned discs normally. Obviously none of that is needed really anymore, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the Dreamcast, with the Saturn, if I'm going to get another one and just rip out the whole thing. I feel like I can rip everything out of this because these drives are going to go soon anyway, so I don't think it's going to be that tragic. Other than that, part of the other reason why I decided to opt to ditch a bunch of stuff is I actually want another guitar. The one I'm eyeing is the ESP, I think it's HT1000, which, if you're a guitar person, distressed wood inlaid with some purple over black. The pickups are Seymour Duncan's, and it has the 17th through 21st fret are scalloped, and it's a roasted maple fretboard. Basically, this is a budget luxury guitar. And by budget, it is just under $1,000. I haven't played it because I don't know who's open, as it were, and who even has it in stock, because this thing came out literally, I think, in the middle of this whole pandemic thing. So I really don't know who has it, and I would want to try it before I actually buy it. But to do that, I actually have decided I'm probably going to part ways with one of my other guitars, namely my Ibanez RGX. Which I purchased, which there'll be a picture somewhere, because I said I want to do B-roll, right? So this guitar was purchased by me, I think, back in like 2005. And I saved up, I don't remember how much, but ripped out the stock pickups, and then I put in Evo 2s, which are the signature pickups from Steve Vai at the time. They're since outdated, but they sound great. The guitar itself, I love it. It's super heavy. In sound and in weight, and unfortunately, no matter how many times I get it set up, which basically means adjustments to the truss rod, which is in case you don't know, a guitar neck actually has a metal rod inside of it, which keeps it from doing this. No matter how many adjustments I make or a professional makes, it always gets fret buzz. And now it's reached the point where I paid for a professional setup, which admittedly it's not a lot of money. It's like, I think this was like $70, And not even 2 weeks later, it's buzzing all over the place, and I am convinced the dude did absolutely nothing. But this guitar has always had problems with intonation and everything else. So I'm thinking maybe it's time for me to trade up, as it were. Now, I haven't called, I guess, Guitar Center yet, because the mom and pop stores, I don't think they're able to purchase anything right now. Because I would honestly prefer just to trade it up to this new one. I don't really, when it comes to dive bombs and stuff, I really don't play like that anymore. Or well, in the first place. So I kind of just want to get something that's just like a straight metal guitar, I guess you could say. Because right now I have a 7-string, which is off camera, and which is a Solar guitar. So, you know, Ola England from Feared and The Haunted, that's his company. Also, I have my Fender Stratocaster, which is my baby. That guitar, I don't know if I ever told this story actually, it's a Mexican Strat with a fat head that has been discontinued since like 2001. Bought it for like $400, and then I spent the next year literally changing everything in it. Such a fun project. It has Fender Hot Blues pickups, and I threw in a Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates, changed the pick guard. Frets ended up having to get changed. The headstock is a fat headstock. Unfortunately, that one too is starting to get some fret buzz, but it's my child. So I tried to do the adjustment myself, and I think at this point the hardware is just so old that it's like welded in. So I don't know what the story is with that one. I'm waiting for one of the mom and pop stores to get their stuff together so they can at least reopen, even if it's just for a consultation, because I tried to do the adjustments myself, and I tried every single Allen key I own, and I bought more, and just nothing is moving, which is, it's upsetting because I don't want to hear it's done. I don't think so. But I also don't want somebody to tell me we have to change the neck, because that's another couple of $100 out the window. Plus, they don't really do the fat headstock anymore, which makes me sad. And if I did want to change it, I would want to rotate out the rosewood for a roasted maple, and that is going to cost more money. See, we're learning together, because I originally had something planned and I totally forgot to bring it off camera. The other thing I've been doing, and this is the last of the guitar-related stuff, is I bought myself a new strap, and I decided to literally wear my loves and my hobbies on my sleeve. So I am trying to deck it out with pins. It's been fun. Unfortunately, the Fangamer pins are great. They look phenomenal, but the backs that they use, they aren't the locking ones, so they tend to pop off while playing, which is a pain in the ass. So, see, we got some KOF. I got one from Super Rare, Neo Geo, that says Haggard for President. This is from Summer Games Done Quick 2019. Metal Slug, of course, and my boy Morgana, the original Go to Sleep cat. I will say though, I really like having this on is actually really cool, but I feel like I need to get some other stuff on there too, like maybe mix in some anime and some music. I did see a really cool JoJo's Bizarre Adventure one that just says to be continued, so I totally just, the meme itself is just funny in and of to me. So I think that is going to be one that I want to pick up. But in terms of game pickups, I guess there haven't been that many, if at all. I really don't know. I feel like not being able to go out just isn't as fun as for game hunting or even with this hobby. And now Book Off has reopened, which I will give them props because they've been phenomenal since they've reopened. But yeah, we're chasing. But even when I went, and I did a little bit of shopping myself, you know, the stock is the same stock that they had before closing. And now they're even hip to the game with this whole video game pricing thing. So everything with them is ridiculously priced too. I mean, they have some Neo Geo Pocket Color games. They have SNK versus Capcom Millennium Battle. I have the NTSC version. They have the Japanese version, and it's double the price of the NTSC version. I'm like, what? Why? Like, nobody has bought it. You've been closed for about 4 months. Personally speaking, I would say drop the pricing or prices to at least get some money in the door. I mean, if you don't live in the States, in case you don't know, or if you do live in the States and you don't realize, we apparently have a coin shortage. How does that happen? Nobody's using cash. Nobody's using currency. Everybody's using credit because they don't want to touch things. At one point, I've heard of banks that say, if you bring in like a roll of quarters, $10, we will give you 15 in cash or credit on your account because they're so desperate for coins. I have a change bucket over there. I am just waiting for my time to cash in on this. And it sounds so rudimentary and dumb because how many times do we get loose change? I don't know. Maybe one of my friends, if he gets pennies, he just throws them in the street. So, and I'm like, you idiot. Especially now, I texted him an article. He was like, motherfucker, I threw like $800 worth of pennies in the street over the course of my life. But even Book Office, like, if you bring us change, if you pay with loose change, we will give you something for free because they just can't do it. And even when I brought in some odds and ends stuff to trade in, they had to cut me a check for $43, which I get it. You know, obviously currency's not exchanging. They have to keep money in the banks. Of course, that makes sense. But Jesus Christ, a check for $43? How much did the checkbook cost you? Anyway, but I didn't pick up anything. Really the only things, I guess, pickups for like the last few months is since I've weeded out stuff, I've really tried just to pick up really cool things. So a few of the limited release stuff, if it looks interesting to me. I mean, I know Limited Run literally, they have like 50 things I'm interested in. And now they charge me tax. And the shipping is already ridiculous enough. So basically I have to pay $10 to get any game. So I've decided I'm going to stack everything up in one massive cart. And then as soon as one of them is up for no longer, the pre-order's closing, just order everything. It seems to work. However, I also don't like getting hit for a couple $100 every time. It's not fiscally responsible to say the least. But I figure with the stuff I've offloaded, I'm really not losing anything. But I did get back into Amiibo slightly, and it's really just because I wanted merchandise of stuff I love. I've been looking for a Castlevania pin for this, can't find it. Although GameStop did some sort of promo a while ago, it was like buy 2 Amiibo get 2 free. So I got myself Dark Samus, Richter, Simon. And then I got the Link's Awakening guy, and I traded that off. So basically, I got free money out of it. But I got 3 Amiibo I wanted. And now I have to track down Ridley, who's like $40 because of this stupidity. And then I have to get Snake. And then I think I'm good for a while. Although I do think I want Joker. And I don't know if they made one for Terry yet. If they did, that has to be bought too. Did they make Terry? I don't even know. Like I said, I haven't really been paying attention to it. It's just, I got Xenoblade Chronicles because I had to, and I replayed that. Actually, yeah, let's just get into games I finished, really, because in terms of pickups, it's really just been that stuff, or stuff I pre-ordered a very long time ago. So games I finished, I'm going to put a link to my Backloggery downstairs if you want to look at it. I mean, honestly, a bunch of you already look at my Backloggery and ask me like, hey, what'd you think of this and all that stuff, which is good. One other update to the game whatever thing out there. The laser in my fat PS2, my original PS2, is beyond being on its last legs. So I finally took the plunge and did the hard drive mod because I had no choice. And better yet, the McBoot I was using was so old, it just didn't work with that mod at all, so I had to get a new one. But now everything's hunky-dory again. I can play PS2 games outside. And then I have a Slim in here to use on the CRT sitting next to me for light gun games, so I'm set. But for games I finished, I mean, I'm not going to go through everything. as I was saying, just like the key highlights. So I finished Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and I really enjoyed it. It's better the second time through and in half the time. I think it's just because I knew what to do. Unfortunately, it seems like I finished these things before all these patches come out, but to me the experience was great anyway. I used the same party I did the first time I played it. So mechanically it was a little boring, but I will say Dunban at the end is totally naked. Nothing touches him. But it's an excellent game. Still. I didn't do the extra content only because I think at that point I wanted to play something else. And in order to play something else, I tried to do it like one game per console, as it were. But I went on this crazy like visual novel kick, and I'm still in a visual novel kick. I finished Root Double, which is a digital-only visual novel on the PS Vita that like was made by Sekai Project, meaning it never goes on sale. And then randomly one day it was like 2% off or something. It was something dumb. And I was finally like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it. It's never going to go down in price again. And it hasn't. And I played through it. And it's honestly not what I thought it was going to be. It is kind of like a Zero Escape, but minus the escape room stuff. I mean, basically, you are a fire rescue person, and you're trapped in a nuclear facility that it just had a meltdown, and you come across a scientist who works there who's like, oh my god, look at all the secrets getting exposed and all that stuff. And of course, because it's anime, we have to have a high school student and crew with latent abilities, I'll just say, and hijinks ensue, and then ultimately everybody hates everybody and tries to kill everybody. Now, the story is actually really good. The character development is really good too. The only thing is there's like 39 endings, including bad endings and, you know, game ends. And the normal ending really doesn't answer anything. It kind of just says, and you know, and they all lived happily ever after, but not really. So you have to play through it a couple of times to get the full story. But after, I think, 40 hours for that first playthrough, and there's no route system. You have to go through each decision, because your decisions are done in this grid system. So basically, let's say I'm having a conversation with you. I can perceive you as being a cool person. So if you say something I don't like, I'll probably just agree with it. Or I could perceive you as being dishonest or disingenuous, and then I just disagree with it. But it puts you in scenarios where you have like 4 or 5 different people. So it's not like a black or white thing, because they give you like a graph of like 1 to 9 to do. It's an invisible 1 to 9, but you do it that way, and you know, some people you trust more than others, and then this whole graph changes. Ultimately, I was kind of just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just gonna roll with it and see what happens. So I somehow stumbled upon the normal ending, but the true ending, you literally have to go through everything, and there's so many different decision points and interactions, I just do not have the patience for it. But the suspense part is really good. I just don't know if at first I was kind of annoyed that it didn't get a physical. I'm kind of happy it did. The second did not, because it ultimately was good, but it didn't set my world on fire. There's also another game in there where you play from the perspective of the students, which I'll be honest is completely fucking boring, because it takes place before the main story, but you learn everything except for certain parts already. So it's like a prequel, but it's more like it's like an anime recap episode. But they threw in some extra stuff. I also finally played Valhalla Cyber Bartender Simulator, or action, but it's a simulator. Guys, if you you know, I want to do a whole thing on visual novels one day, because I enjoy them. And as somebody who has difficulty reading books because I need visual stimuli, visual novels are great. I've finished this, and I'm actually playing through Tokyo Chronos right now, which is on the PSVR, and it's weird playing that on a headset. I've really taken during this whole wackiness into the notion of reading for at least an hour a day to keep the brain moving, because you kind of need it with everything. Wearing that VR headset for an hour is not a good look. It does a number on your neck. It does a number on your back. So I'm literally sitting on the couch like this the entire time, which is not comfortable in and of itself because, believe it or not, humans actually don't enjoy standing up with perfectly good posture. But, with Valhalla, it was really cool because, everybody thinks of their bartender, if you go to a small bar, as their therapist. And that's really what Jill is. She's everybody's therapist, including the staff. And there's no save the world plot. It's literally just a bartender going to work, interacting with clients, and just doing the whole day-to-day thing. And there's little arcs in between with the clients. There's, some world building and everything else. And it was so much fun because it didn't have all that. And it's kind of like what I said with Atelier. I like it because it's not a whole save the world thing. It's very slice of life. It's just like, this is my little corner of the universe, and these are the people I interact with and what I do. So it was great, and I really, really enjoyed it. If you haven't played it, definitely look into it. But Tokyo Chronos, I went into this blind. I'm not that far into it. I'm only on chapter 3, and it's kind of like, basically, once again, because anime, high school students are stuck in an alternate dimension of Shibuya, and nobody's there. And now people are disappearing, and we don't know why, and apparently somebody was murdered, and we have to find the killer. I eat this stuff up, to be completely honest. But it's interesting, but I'm not far enough to really talk about it, I guess. I just finished Disgaea 5. 4, I think, is still my favorite. There's 5 just, 5 has a lot of new mechanics added in, it has a lot of new stuff, but ultimately it kind of spoofed a shonen way too much for me with the main character Killia. But I can't say because it's a spoiler, but if you have played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just you got to keep upping the ante over and over and over again. After 50 hours, I felt like this game could have ended at 40. And I did the item world a bunch of times, so I finished the game at like level, I think, 198 or something like that. So, and even then the final stages were fucking difficult as shit. But that could just be because of my party lineup, because mechanically they changed a lot. Ninjas are useless now. Archers, like, they're great in the beginning, which has always been the thing, and then they kind of taper off at the end. This time they just they nosedive. So I really don't know what happened there, but what else have I finished? I don't have the Backloggery up, and I really don't feel like tabbing over to that. Finished a bunch of stuff. Oh, and I did import whatchamacallit, Mr. Driller Drill Land. I forgot to mention that in the pickup part. So this is basically, it's an arcade game, but it was originally on the Japanese GameCube, I think. I beat it by mistake. I honestly didn't think it was that short, at least from my research. I literally just popped in just to kill some time because this guy was burning my brain, and all of a sudden I got the credits. So, I don't know. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this, whatever the fuck it is. I know this is a little bit more streamlined than what I typically do. Maybe that's a good thing. I really don't know. But this is the first time I've actually sat in front of a camera for a while. See, I didn't have a pen because I was writing shit down. I haven't done this for a minute. So I'm still a little bit out of practice, I guess you could say. It'll all come to me. But as I said, it's kind of just like a whole hodgepodge thing. There'll probably be more to it, hopefully, down the road. Obviously, I don't have any crazy stories because I've been trapped in the fucking house and just doing absolutely nothing. But maybe I'll try, and also I want to do more of like an intro thing just to give an idea of the format, and then you guys can tell me what you think of it, or suggestions for the next time, or what have you. Also, because I'm recording everything straight off the phone now, I also don't know what the audio sounds like, and if it does need to happen, I'll toss on the Yeti or something like that. But when's the next one going to come out? I don't know. It's going to be, basically I'm doing this on a whenever it speaks to me sort of thing. Hopefully I have some more random variety stuff moving forward, because this is pretty much par for the course. I mean, I can tell you about the vegetarian barbecue thing I did on July 4th. My girlfriend's vegetarian, and after 4 hours of fucking grilling shit, I was not doing a second round of crap. So everybody just had Beyond Sausage, all right? It's the quickest way. But I guess that's going to do it for this time. I've been Alex, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.